At society, now that he's revealed Cain's evil plan, Michael wants to move on to ear-nibbling. Lauren nixes that. She needs to know how he plans to single-handedly save Genoa City. Michael explains Cain hired him and wants to put his special skill set to use. Lauren fumes. "You're kidding me? You're going to be his fixer?" This keeps getting worse and worse. She's furious that he took the job without even speaking to her. He starts to say he wanted to protect her, and she threatens him with a butter knife. Michael explains he doesn't want her to be legally affected, which tells Lauren that he'll be doing something illegal. Lauren worries Cain's setting him up to take the fall when his scheme fails. Fuming, Lauren tells Michael she wants him to stay out of it. Michael rails that Cain is threatening people they loved. Lauren won't let him put himself at risk. Michael refuses to be a spectator. Realizing she won't talk him out of it, Lauren decides she's just glad he's not working with Victor. She asks how deep he's gotten himself with Ashby. At the Overlook, Billy pleads with Sally to trust him. He knows now where he went wrong. Sally, astutely, points out he still hasn't said anything about giving up Chancellor. She's watched this fixation rip everything away from them. Billy can't grasp how this affects their relationship. Sally can't compete with it, and she doesn't want to. "I want to know that you're done." Sally rants about being collateral damage and exclaims, "You gambled me and my future!" She's learned her lesson and will figure out how to get what she wants on her own. Billy apologizes and admits he wanted it all. Sally doesn't know how to move forward if nothing changes. Billy claims that he and Jack are united against Cain. He dangles Abbott communications, but Sally still wants to hear that he's moving on from revenge on Jill. He has to make a choice. Chancellor or me? At the Abbott house, Jack and Diane are still lecturing Kyle after his outburst at the jazz lounge with Audra. Circling back to Billy, Jack has a rant about his brother being all over the place and still fixated on Chancellor. If Jill becomes any more a part of this equation, Billy will burn everything down. Jack can't let that happen. As Kyle suggests calling a meeting with Genoa's chief technology officer, Jack stuns his wife and son by declaring he's going to do the one thing he never thought he'd have to do: join forces with the mustache to take Cain Ashby down. On the Cain train, which still has no security, Ashby's surprised to see Victor come through the door. The Newman is tired of waiting for his answer about attacking Jabot. Cain stalls and Victor declares that they'll proceed tomorrow. After some back and forth about Victor's threat to expose his late father, Cain asks what he gets out of this deal. Victor says he can keep his companies and add Jabot as a new toy in his collection. Cain's going to need more. He wants Newman Media to tell the world that Colin turned his life around so his children can be proud. Victor mockingly says this warms the cockles of his heart. He'll consider it. He reminds Ashby he's in no position to negotiate. Is he in or out? Once he walks out the door, the deal is off the table. At the Overlook, Billy's not happy with Sally giving him an ultimatum. Sally chastises him for acting like she's being selfish when he's the one doing that. She would hate to believe that a company means more to him than she does. "Me or Chancellor?" she asks again. When Billy hesitates, Sally tearfully informs him that's all she needs to know. Billy starts a new protest and apology spiel. Sally warns that his choices have consequences. Billy wants her in his future, whatever it takes. "I choose you, Sally, if you will have me." Caving, Sally tells him she loves him. In a line that should have her running for the hills, Billy replies, "I promise. We will get everything we want." At society, Lauren complains that Michael has traded one risky job for another. Michael knows he can control the outcome of this situation. Lauren wants to know that there are no more secrets, and then she'll be on board, for now. Michael merely kisses her hand. At the Abbott house, Diane and Kyle are appalled by Jack's suggestion that they team up with Victor. It's not a viable option. Diane asks if the threat of Cain is really worth waving a white flag in front of the Black Knight, who hates him. Diane and Kyle try at length to talk Jack out of it, but he won't budge. "Trust me, I know what I'm doing." Michael arrives at the Cain train, where he and Victor put on a show as the mustache accuses his old friend of betraying him by hooking up with Ashby. Victor wants an answer from Cain, who tells him no. Victor walks out. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, September 26, 2025, have Victor considering calling a truce with Jack, Cain ending an alliance, and Nikki receiving surprising news. Victor will do anything to stay ahead of his enemies. Right now, his biggest enemy appears to be Cain. His beef with Jack is more of a personal feud, as Victor doesn't like Jack being interested in his wife Nikki's welfare. On Friday's show, watch for Victor to consider calling a truce with Jack. The ramifications of such a move are far-reaching. Cain may have been hoping to divide and conquer the power players in Genoa City, so he could more easily dispose of them. But if Jack and Victor were to remain united in their front against Cain, he may have a tougher battle. The chess pieces are constantly being repositioned in Genoa City. Cain recently cut his ties with Billy because he was too volatile. On Friday's show, Cain is going to end another alliance, but with whom? Might Cain realize he doesn't need two high-powered attorneys on his team? He might realize that Amanda and Michael won't complement each other as much as he needs them to. If volatile players aren't part of Cain's future, he may also want to end his alliance with Phyllis. The fiery redhead is determined to ride Cain's coattails so that she can earn the respect of those she feels have dissed her. But Cain may want someone on his team who isn't driven by personal vendettas. Nikki keeps a watchful eye over her family and the company she runs, Chancellor Industries. On Friday's show, watch for Nikki to receive some surprising news. Is Nikki going to be blindsided by a matter related to business or something from her personal life? Claire was recently offered trips to Paris and to Los Angeles by, respectively, Kyle and Holden. Can Nikki stand to lose an employee she recently gave a promotion to? Or does Nikki's surprise have to do with someone else entirely? Tune in to find out. The Young and the Restless has a new co-executive producer, who's actually not new at all. Sally McDonald has been with the soap since 1989, when she was hired as a production supervisor. 7 years later, she also joined the show's directing team, helping to steer Young and Restless to 8 Emmy victories in that category. McDonald will work alongside the daytime drama's current co-executive producer, Josh Griffith, Soap Opera Digest said in breaking the news. He will continue in that capacity, as well as head writer. Word of McDonald's promotion comes at a key moment for The Young and the Restless. This fall, the show is undergoing a sea change, welcoming back a legacy character and introducing Emmy winners Tamara Braun and Roger Howarth in roles that are shrouded in mystery. That cast shakeup comes on the heels of Cain Ashby's recasting, with the younger, significantly less Australian Billy Flynn replacing Daniel Goddard. The erstwhile Aristotle Dumas has a master plan, he loves to say. But only time will tell whether it amounts to more than the show's last scheming tycoon Tucker McCall's did. In the September 25th episode of The Young and the Restless, Billy Abbott faced a defining moment when Sally Spectra drew a line in the sand. After weeks of frustration over his obsession with Chancellor, Sally finally demanded an answer. Would Billy choose his vendetta? Or would he choose her? Their confrontation unfolded with raw honesty. Sally reminded Billy that her dreams and career had been pushed aside while he gambled everything on his mother's company. She accused him of sacrificing her future, Redical, for his revenge, declaring that she couldn't compete with his fixation on Chancellor. When Billy tried to reassure her, Sally refused to settle for more empty promises. Her ultimatum was clear: Chancellor or me. Billy didn't deny her accusations. He admitted that his drive to take Chancellor had consumed him, but insisted Sally was the most important part of his life outside of his children. He promised her a future together and insisted she would get the best of him. Still, his inability to let go of his revenge left the outcome uncertain. Sally pressed him to prove that she mattered more than his quest for control. The ultimatum marked a turning point, not just for Billy and Sally's relationship, but also for the larger battles brewing in Genoa City. Billy's fixation on Chancellor continues to destabilize his family alliances and embolden Cain and Victor. If he can't put Sally first, he risks losing both his partner and his credibility. Sally, meanwhile, has signaled that she will no longer sacrifice her own future to support his obsessions. The fallout from Billy's choice will reverberate through his personal life and the high-stakes corporate wars that threaten to consume the Abbotts. The Young and the Restless scoop for Thursday, September 25th, reveals Cain Ashby will turn down Victor Newman's offer. Also coming up, Sally Spectra will give Billy Abbott an ultimatum. Plus, Michael Baldwin will explain to Lauren Fenmore why he took the job with Cain. And Jack Abbott's plan will stun Diane Jenkins and Kyle Abbott. Y&R spoilers tease Billy will continue to plead with Sally. "I screwed up, but I know where I went wrong. I know that we can figure this out, together." So, Sally will tell him he still hasn't mentioned Chancellor. Does he still want it back, or has he finally given it up? Billy say he's having a hard time understanding how him moving forward with Chancellor would affect their relationship. Sally will say she can't compete with his obsession and doesn't want to. He'll say he can't believe it's come to this. "Billy, you had your own company in your hands," she'll reply. "But the only thing you can think about your mother, who doesn't believe in you." However, he'll tell Sally he's not going to apologize for wanting to take back something that's rightfully his. She'll say they could have been living their dream, but his obsession derailed it all. "I would hate to believe that a company means more to you than me," Sally will add. "So now's your chance, Billy, me, or Chancellor." Billy will say besides his kids, she's the most important thing in his life. "I choose you, Sally, if you'll have me." Then he'll tell Sally he loves her. "I love you too," she'll reply. Meanwhile, Michael will tell Lauren that Cain offered him a job. "I will be a problem solver." Lauren will get angry. "You're gonna be his fixer?" she'll ask incredulously. Lauren will say he told her he turned down the job he mentioned to her when she was out of town. "If I hadn't forced your hand, you wouldn't have told me the truth." Michael will say the less she knows the better. Cain poses a real threat to friends and family. He'll say he took the job because he's the only one who can de-escalate it. "There's no way in hell I'm just going to stand by," Michael will add. "If I'm on the inside, I will be able to find out the specifics and sabotage them before anyone gets hurt." Lauren will say she doesn't like it, but she appreciates him being honest. At the Abbott estate, Jack, Diane, and Kyle will discuss Billy's obsession with Chancellor. Then there'll be more boring talk about how to beat Cain. Kyle will say he's going to call the head of Abbott Technology to ask him to shore everything up. Then Jack will say he's going to do the one thing he never thought he'd ever do. Diane will ask what. "Join forces with the mustache to take Cain Ashby down," he'll reply. But Diane and Kyle will push back. "Why would you take a risk like this?" Diane will ask. Speaking of the mustache, he'll drop by Cain's choo-choo train. Victor will tell him he doesn't like to be kept waiting. He wants to attack Abbott tomorrow. When Cain says he still needs to think about it, Victor will say the deal ends the moment he steps off his train. He'll remind him of how he came into his fortune and how he can spread it far and wide on Newman Media. Cain will say if he does that, it'll drive a wedge even deeper between he and his kids. But Victor will tell him if he goes along with the plan, he can keep his company and add Abbott to it. "I want to crush Jack Abbott, and you are the means to do that." Cain will tell him he needs more. "I want Newman Media to tell the truth about my father. He repented. He turned his life around," he'll add. "If my children know about my father's kindness, maybe it'll earn me back their respect." The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease, Nikki. Newman will get some surprising news. Is Dylan McAvoy returning? Dylan was last seen in 2017 when he went into witness protection. It's about time he returned to Genoa City. Dylan is the son of Nikki and Paul Williams and once was married to Sharon Newman. And he owned Crimson Lights before Sharon took it over when he left town. He had relationships with Phyllis Summers' sister, Avery Clark. And before he married Sharon, he was married for a short time to Chelsea Lawson. Dylan was also afflicted with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, from his years with the military in Afghanistan. Dylan had gone undercover as a member of the Genoa City Police Department and fought some dangerous men, one of which he killed in self-defense. But the criminal's network of thugs were still a danger to not only Dylan, but his family, and he left town in witness protection. A rescue storyline is coming up involving Noah Newman, who will need rescuing somewhere on the West Coast. Nick Newman and Sharon will go there. There will be a Detective Burrows who will be involved, as well as a woman named Sienna Bacall, who may have kidnapped Noah. It's possible that Dylan may be involved in this storyline as well, considering he was once married to Sharon when her children were a bit younger. But before embarking on the rescue mission for Noah, he may reconnect with his mother Nikki, possibly having reconnected with Paul as well. It's possible that when Sharon and Nick find out Noah's in trouble on the West Coast, Dylan may go with them on the rescue mission if he's come to town. Steve Burton is busy on General Hospital, so if Dylan does return, he'll have to be a recast. But who might be playing him? Another former GH star, Roger Howarth, has joined the CBS soap in a mystery role. Might it be Dylan? Roger and Steve are around the same age, so that would fit, even though age doesn't generally matter in soaps. Roger has already started filming, as have Lucas Adams, the new Noah, and Tamara Braun, who also was on GH as one of 4 versions of Carly Spencer, now played by Laura Wright. Fans should see Roger, Lucas, Matt, and Tamara on their TV screens probably sometime in October. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with Y&R right now. Come back here often for The Young and the Restless spoilers, news, and updates. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, September 25th, hint at some major moments in Genoa City. Someone is asked to make a snap decision, while another has trickery on the brain, and a character has a tough call to make. What's on the horizon for Thursday's show? Time to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, September 25th. Hint that Victor Newman will present Cain Ashby with an interesting offer. With that said, the offer that is on the table needs an immediate answer, and if Cain doesn't give one, it will be withdrawn. There's no one who plays mind games better than the mustache, so it looks like Victor is just trying to wear down the billionaire mogul and exert his authority. Cain has had his sights set on taking Genoa City over and collecting all the major conglomerates in the process. However, thanks to this ploy and others, Victor is proving who the real boss in GC is. Across town, Jack Abbott will have a trick up his sleeve. As he plans to make a pact with Victor during the Friday, September 26th show, is what he's doing during Thursday's show setting things up for Friday? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Lastly, The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday reveal that Billy Abbott will force Sally Spectra to make a tough choice. During the Wednesday, September 24th show, the two shared a very intense encounter as Sally got emotional talking about how she walked away from everything, including her career at Marchetti, to follow Billy. He would end up blowing up their Abbott Communications' dream to follow Cain's plan, a plan that went bust. There's also the concern that Billy is now turning away from revenge against Victor to target Cain. Billy did promise a light at the end of the tunnel and that he was refocused, but will Sally choose to return to his side or navigate toward a new direction? The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for Thursday, September 25th, 2025. In the next episode, fans can expect Cain Ashby to have an answer for Victor Newman. Plus, Jack Abbott has a crazy twist coming up. So, let's get started talking about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Victor, who shows up on Cain's train to deliver a proposition. The patriarch previously tried to blackmail Cain. However, that hasn't changed Cain's endgame on taking over all of the major companies in Genoa City. Since that didn't work, Victor will have a new idea. The man offers Cain another deal. While the tycoon says he will think about it, Victor delivers another bombshell. He needs an answer before he walks out that door. Since all of the other tactics haven't worked, Victor is going to try a smarter strategy, one that will possibly give Cain the only things that money and deceit can't buy. That would be Lily Winters and the kids. Victor might tell Cain that he can promise a reunion with Lily. The man won't go into how he will make it possible, but that it's his final deal. Since Cain very much wants Lily and the kids back, he could take him up on it. However, how is Victor going to explain this to Lily? It is stated that at the end of the week, Victor seriously considers the truce offering. However, can they really put their differences aside to focus on taking down Cain? Since Cain very much wants Lily and the kids back, he could take him up on it. However, how is Victor going to explain this to Lily? It is also teased that tomorrow's episode should feature a crazy twist for Jack. This could have to do with Jack and Victor possibly joining forces to take down Cain for good. It is stated that at the end of the week, Victor seriously considers the truce offering. However, can they really put their differences aside to focus on taking down Cain? Or will their bickering allow Cain to get a wedge in anyway? It could really go either way at this point, so stay tuned. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, September 25th, reveal that Sally Spectra will face her own impossible situation. Billy Abbott wants Sally to forgive him and get back together. However, the problem wasn't necessarily Cain, but Billy's endless need to get revenge. Since Cain cut the cord, Billy's fixation could just be another obstacle for making things right with Sally. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Thursday, September 25th, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. Nikki is stuck in the middle. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Friday, September 26th, tease that Victor might change his mind about Jack, while Cain changes his about somebody else. Victor is always right. If he ever changes his mind about anything, then he is right now. And he was right before, just in a different way. Remember when he totally supported Ashland marrying Victoria, because Ashland was a good man according to Victor. And then he was against Ashland and Victoria, because Ashland was a bad man according to Victor, and anyone who disagreed with him, either time, was disloyal and also dumb? Well, now, Victor has been calling Jack the worst and calling for his destruction, except he may be changing his mind shortly. It makes sense to call a truce with Jack. In that case, Victor is doing the right thing. And anyone who disagrees is disloyal and also dumb. Both times. Cain invited half of Genoa City to France in order to begin making alliances. Then he returned to Genoa City and proceeded to make even more alliances. He's offered deals to Billy, to Phyllis, and to Michael. Viewers already know Michael is really working for Victor, and that Billy turned Cain down, for now. As for Phyllis, Phyllis is only out for Phyllis, full stop. We figure Cain knows this too, which is why he's about to sever at least one relationship. Nikki is trying to stay married to Victor while being friendly with Jack. Nikki is a grown-up. Victor, on the other hand, taunts Jack like he's a spoiled child on a playground. Will Nikki keep straddling both sides, or will a plot twist force her to choose one or the other? Will Cain and Tracy's latest encounter reignite their romance? Cain had a recent reunion with Tracy on The Young and the Restless. The two had a friendly encounter, which has sparked speculation of them renewing their romance. Back in 2019, Cain formed a friendship with Tracy. She comforted him following his divorce from Lily. And he helped Tracy with her new novel. It didn't take long for feelings to start brewing, and before long, the two kissed. However, the train romance didn't go anywhere since Tracy decided they'd be better as friends. Now that Cain's returned and he is played by Billy Flynn, fans wondered how the show would address Trainee's history. The two had a recent encounter at Society, and it seems that Cain and Tracy are still great friends. Tracy even mentioned their brief romance and how they kept in touch over the years. It's obvious they still care about each other, so could their recent reunion spark romantic feelings? Well, if Y&R fans have their way, the answer is no. On Reddit, most fans voiced their opposition to Round 2 of Train. This will probably come across as mean, but with the casting of Billy Flynn, I really hope they don't try and do another romance storyline with the two, or even Tracy having a crush on him, declared one user. I love Tracy, but I wasn't feeling it with the other Cain, certainly not this one viewer replied. However, a few fans were willing to give the couple a chance. If Victor can marry Sharon, Cain and Tracy are not a problem, one commenter wrote. Fans may not have to worry about a training romance since Cain only wants to reunite with Lily. Meanwhile, Tracy's latest visit to Genoa City might be brief. Although Cain and Tracy didn't work out romantically, they still have their friendship. Billy thinks he can keep Sally on a leash as he seeks revenge. Billy wants Sally to trust him. He admitted that he screwed up by ditching their dreams to work with Cain. But he's still not giving up on Chancellor. So, what does Billy really want on The Young and the Restless? Billy refuses to give up on Chancellor. He admitted to Sally that he wants to keep a close eye on the company for now. But Sally feels that his obsession with Chancellor has already pulled him away from their dreams. They were working so hard to build Abbott Communications together. Now, Billy has devised a grand scheme to get revenge on Cain and get Chancellor back. Sally knows that she can't compete with Chancellor, so Sally gave Billy an ultimatum. She wants him to choose her or Chancellor. Their future is at stake since his obsession has blinded him to everything, including their relationship. But Billy hates ultimatums, especially when they come from those he loves. He claims that he's already fighting for them. Sally doesn't trust him, and she shouldn't. Billy has proved that he doesn't love Sally by going down this route. He hasn't considered her feelings on this matter. Once again, Jack is being naive about his brother. He believes that Billy will make the right decision and fight for his family, but he's not even willing to fight for his relationship. Plus, he ditched Jack at the drop of a hat and didn't blink twice at it. Billy has already proven that he has no issues with switching sides. One day, he's on Cain's side. The next day, he thinks Cain is the problem. Still, Billy can't let go of Chancellor, especially if Jill is involved with this situation. He can't let it go that she might have hurt him. Jack is also callow enough to think that Billy won't burn everything down in his life. He's already proven that he's willing to. Billy claims that he needs Sally in his life, but he's not acting like it. He still has Chancellor on his mind more than anything else. Does she want to stick it to Kyle? Or does she want him all to herself? Diane clocked Audra on Wednesday's episode of The Young and the Restless. She claims the siren wants Kyle all to herself. Does she have a point? Kyle isn't the only one who's spiraling these days. Audra has been spiraling as well. She just hides it well until she's ready to erupt. That happened when the two crossed paths at the lounge. Kyle wanted to get drunk after his run-in with Claire, who wants nothing to do with him. There's nothing that Audra loves more than to watch Kyle drown his sorrows. She had to throw a few digs at him. The two exchanged words until Diane and Jack reigned in their sun. Audra claimed that she enjoys watching Kyle crumble. She believes that a Nepo baby like him deserves to suffer. Diane doesn't believe that. She believes Audra wants Kyle all to herself, and the reason she's making a big deal about this is that she'll never have him. Diane could have a point. Audra and Kyle did have a steamy affair at one point when he was married to Summer, but that ended when he exposed her scheming deals with Victor. He continued the affair to pretend to be charmed by her. Then, he ended things to protect Claire, whom he fell in love with. Audra could be jealous of Kyle choosing Claire over her, because she wanted to keep their affair going. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of September 29th reveal a lot of curveballs. Fans can expect Sharon Newman and Nick Newman's trip to face complications. Meanwhile, Kyle Abbott could make things even worse with Claire Grace Newman. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Claire, who needs distance and space from Kyle. However, the man just won't stop. There is also the fact that Claire keeps seeing or hearing about Kyle and Audra Charles' interactions. Really, Kyle and Audra are acting like toddlers. Claire seems to want to see what else is out there for her. The blonde has an opportunity to explore Los Angeles with Holden Novak. Despite Kyle's warnings about the man, Claire just might take Holden up on the offer. Even though Victoria Newman is really supportive of Claire's decisions, she could worry about her daughter. Victoria knows for sure that Kyle loves Claire. At the same time, she might worry that Holden is taking advantage of Claire and Kyle's situation. Nate Hastings might share Victoria's concerns about Holden. At some point in the near future, Victoria and Claire are in LA together. So maybe Claire agrees to go on the trip as long as her mother can go too. Or maybe Victoria goes chasing after Claire after learning some alarming intel about Holden. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of September 29th reveal that Victor Newman and Jack Abbott should agree to an alliance. However, can they really stop attacking each other long enough to stop Cain Ashby? Billy Abbott will likely go on a rampage. After deceiving everyone, now he's all mad that nobody wants to help him target Cain. Why? So, he can deceive and dump them again the next time a better offer comes along? There is also Tessa Porter, who has decided to investigate Mariah Copeland's secret. Tessa won't have to investigate alone, though. Daniel Romalotti Jr. has agreed that she's not doing this alone. There is also Sharon and Nick, who also plan on going to LA. They are meeting up with Noah Newman next month. However, there could be some complications and twists, so stay tuned. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of September 29th, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount to find out what happens next.